Welcome back to the second half of the Bobby Dupre Show, and my sidekick here, Andrew.
Good morning.
Good. We showed the pictures we have. I think we out of pictures.
Took care of all the pictures.
And we have a lot more pictures than were shown on the television portion. They're in the archives. So in about by
the time you see it on TV, you can start looking. It's
probably already up. Yes.
A clarification. You and I talked about the fact that our friend Carl Graffanina is trying to sell the Jake's Music Store building. And someone understood that he was closing down. I want to make sure he's not closing down. He's interested in selling the building. The building's very large for all the kind of stuff he sells. He'd like a little smaller building, so he's looking if someone's interested in buying the building to go buy. But Carl is still open. If you need your music supplies, go on buy. I know a lot of the OC kids that go to school, my kids go and get their music stuff from him. So good morning, Carl.
Cecile Delb, age 94, died a few days back. And I want to apologize to the family, particularly to Diane Delb Dejon, Sean Dejon's former wife, and of course Jack Delb Jr., who we know very well. We know both of them very, very well. And she died a few days ago. Tuesday morning, the viewing with the family was from 9 to 11 when the services took place. And I had a 10 o'clock meeting. I had meetings until 10 o'clock. Then I had a 10 o'clock meeting that was supposed to last maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I was going to get my car, drive over to Sabia Funeral Home, and visit with the family. Well, that meeting lasted 3 hours and 37 minutes, a teleconference. Now that gets mighty long and almost boring, but to the family, my deepest sympathies. And of course, her husband, Mr. Jack Delb Sr., Mr. Jack was a boxing coach, and according to my two brothers, Cody and John, he coached them boxing at Grand Prairie High many years ago. Then later, he came over to Sunset. And I think that's who Mr. Floyd Darby and all of those gentlemen back in that time think that was their coach back in those days, to the Delb family. And then Miss Gertie Doucette, Miss Gertie Godet Doucette, passed away. She was buried Friday. That was last Friday. And we didn't know about that on the last program. Her husband, of course, is Lloyd Doucette from the Grand Prairie, Washington area.
Famous ag teacher.
That's ag teacher.
Taught ag teacher for kids for years and years and years.
And to all of their family members, our deepest of sympathies.
Matter of fact, one thing that kind of connects them to people is, remember the big celebration of the bicentennial with the Jim Bowie oak? Mr. Doucette had gone and got a bunch of the acorns from the Jim Bowie oak and got his classes to start the oak trees up from acorns. And so they put a lot of children of the Jim Bowie oak all throughout the parish. A lot of people have oak trees from that Jim Bowie oak.
Yeah, you know who owns a portion of the Jim Bowie oak today?
You've owned one half, and now you own the other half, which I don't think you've ever owned both halves at the same time.
And another one that passed away was James Laurent Barousse. Well, we knew him as Jimmy Barousse. He was age 71. He graduated at Opelousas Catholic. And I contacted Adelaide to get a little bit more information, and she says his brother was Vic. In the newspaper, they call him T-Vic because their daddy's name was Mr. Victor Barousse. And they lived on Liberty Street, the home that is now occupied by Mel Chris Cloud. And she lives there now. And Vic is married to Mona Francois, and her sister is Sidney Robert, Dr. Jimmy Robert's wife. So to kind of let y'all know the family, they've been gone. He had a good military, and then he was a commercial pilot for years in that industry.
I got a note just before airtime. The details aren't out yet, but a lot of you know maybe Fran DeVille, who's active with helping to run the soccer association over at Sandals Field, very active in the Boosters Club at Westminster. Years ago when OHS revived the Orange Club and Coach Dautrive was there originally, he was very involved in filming the games. His wife, Connie, she passed away. She'd been very ill with cancer. and I guess that would be Tuesday night. She passed away. I don't have all the details yet. I'm sure it'll be in either Thursday's paper or Friday's paper. But our condolences go out to Fran and the two boys. Our deepest sympathies for sure.
Boxing great Joe Frazier died, and he was only 67 years old.
Had cancer.
Had cancer, and he was just diagnosed with this cancer very, very shortly.
Yeah.
And of course, he fought Ali 3 times. And of course, one of the most famous fights of all times was the Thriller in Manila, which took place in the Philippines. And all total, in the 3 fights, they went 41 rounds. Neither gave an inch, and both gave it that all. It was some beautiful fights. And luckily, as things would be, they were bitter enemies, and we don't know if that was part of the show to draw the crowd, but they were shown in recent years together on a few occasions as good friends, and that's good news. And of course, we all know that Ali has had some very trying health issues. Parkinson's.
But you know, with Frazier, that's not the fight I remember with him. I don't remember any of the Ali fights as clear. The big fight I remember is when he fought Foreman, and he went down early, and Howard Cosell starts hollering, "Down goes Frazier!" Remember, down goes Frazier. He knocked Frazier down 4 times. Foreman got the title. Frazier had the title. Foreman took the title from Frazier, and then the Ali thing started up again. I guess that was the second and third fight, but I remember that Foreman fight. Those 3 guys, Foreman, Frazier, and Ali.
I went to see Ali fight in New York Yankee Stadium in a September fight, and I remember Kojak came in with a fur jacket from the
Telly Savalas, the actor.
The actor, all the way down to his shoes. And I had gone to the fights, and I'm sitting on the top row. You couldn't, if I'd had to have been in some type of one of these baskets where you know how to clean this
right.
outside. I'd had to lift to be any higher. And I had gone over there, you know, Cajun boy from Plaisance, Opelousas, going to the fights, late September, and I had a seersucker suit on. Now the people next to me, cold, they had blankets, and you think those Yankees offered me a piece of that?
They're not cordial like us.
Oh, no. Thank God the fight was pretty good, and I guess I started kind of trying to keep warm up there by myself, and then getting back to the hotel. That's another story. When I write my book, be sure y'all buy a copy of it.
We got, talk about Veterans Day in the first half hour. We also have a Veterans Day Patriotic Rosary on the courthouse steps at 5:30 p.m. That's this Friday, November 11th, 5:30 p.m. I believe it's the Catholic Daughters that are going to sponsor it. I got a nice note from Miss Debbie Fay. If you want more information, call her at 942-9701. And one more thing, kind of veterans related, I guess. We got the Woodmen of the World, who are very active. I know most of my friends who are veterans are very active at the Woodmen of the World Lodge. They're having the Huey L. Bork Memorial Scholarship again this year. That's the Woodmen of the World Lodge 47. You can get applications at Crate Sports House and Ken's Thriftway on East Prudhoe. You got till November 20th to apply. So it's only about a week or 2 away. It's a $500 scholarship they're going to give in December. You got to have 30 hours to 90 hours of college credit. So call Ken Thibodeau if you want more info, 942-2736.
By the way, Ken was at the VFW Hall. He is one of the officers there, and of course his wife Barbara. And there was a nice crowd. I really had a good time, and I want to tell one quick story.
Go ahead.
There was a young L'Enclos young man. He was with his dad, and he served 2 stints in Iraq. He was in the Navy on a ship, so he never did set foot on the ground. But he's a veteran, and went there 2 times. Came back with no injuries. Got in a terrible accident on I-49 recently, and he's in a wheelchair, undergoing some surgery. So keep him in your prayers, please. Just remember the young L'Enclos boy. I'm sorry I don't have the name, but well-known family, good people, and certainly a veteran.
It's sponsor time. I got to get a bunch in. Piggly Wiggly. Go down to Piggly Wiggly. Locations all throughout South Louisiana. Right now, you know, the big specials, they've got vegetable oil on sale right now. $2.99 for a 48-ounce bottle. 89 cents a pound for turkeys. Spiral cut hams, $1.99 a pound, and shank portion hams, $1.39 a pound. You know it's Thanksgiving time. Go buy your local Piggly Wiggly. The pig knows best.
And regarding that, our owner of the 2 Piggly Wigglies here in Opelousas and 1 in Simsport, that's part of the group we advertise for. The daddy is none other than our longtime friend, Dale Doucette. And he's shown here with his sister, brother, and his mama, who is, they were having a birthday party, and I think 95th birthday. Can you imagine? And look how spry she still looks. And a good story in Buggy Tracks, which is Bobby Dardo's edition that he produces in Ville Platte, Louisiana, and I brag on his articles. They're so well written. Where they get all the pictures, I don't know. I know we didn't have a camera in Plaisance, but apparently Ville Platte, everybody had a camera. And
that's all related to me.
And he has 3 kids. There's Kevin, and of course his wife Laura, and that's home of her grandson, Kevin. Grandson. And she had 3 brothers, Walter, Warren, and Leroy. Warren is Ryan Duplechan's father.
Correct.
Ryan just came in during the break. He was here for something on KSLO. He was going to give a message. And Dale and his wife, Mary Ann, Mark and Mindy Doucette of Ville Platte, and Maxine, better known as Pudge Doucette of New Orleans. Also in that same Boogie Tracks November edition, there's a 1962 homecoming court. And you know who the homecoming queen is?
Who's that?
Maxine Pudge Doucette.
No kidding.
Yeah, so if y'all haven't gotten your copy, try to get your copy. Very, very interesting. To the Doucette family, y'all a beautiful group and been a long-time friend of me. We grew up together.
When Kevin and I went to college at LSUE, we both kept saying, we know we're related, and we couldn't try to figure out, we thought it was through the Doucette side, my grandmother, but it's actually through the Guitreau side. The other side. I'm not kin to those Doucettes, but I'm kin to those Guitreaus that go back to
Since we're talking a lot about the veterans,
Sonic
has an annual Christmas party. And Mr. Wilkinson, who's the, I guess, owner, operator of the locals franchisee in South Louisiana for Sonic, he has been having a Christmas parade. And since the Christmas parade is scheduled for December the 4th. Veterans Day is November the 11th. He decided to make it, to put them together because he remembers how large the Veterans Parades used to be. And he wants to rebuild that.
So Santa and the veterans will ride together.
Are going to ride together. Good. And they're going to start out on Jefferson Street right next to the underpass. And they'll go all the way to what'd you see here? St. Mary Boulevard.
And all the way to the Hyman.
All the way to
Hyman Boulevard.
Yep, Lafayette General Hospital. All the way to the hospital. Should be a lot of fun, and they're going to double it. Kids are going to have a good time, and the veterans are going to have a good time.
You and I talked earlier. We saw Miss Sue Brignac on some of the pictures. Washington State Bank, all your banking needs, commercial or personal loans, 24/7 banking. You can get all your information online with your account, transfer money between your accounts. They got good, fresh money, as she says, freshly printed, get you some good loans and help you out with your business or your personal needs.
They're going to offer online banking, mobile banking.
That's on your phone.
Check-free, bill pay, and Zash Pay.
Which I'm not sure what that's about. I guess that's to pay your bills online.
Online. And so inquire about our new services. How about that?
And one more while we're in Washington. Steamboat Warehouse. Get mama away from the smell of her own cooking. Go by Steamboat Warehouse. See chef owner Jason Huguet. This time of the year, it's cooling off. You go sit out on the wharf. Have a good adult libation, maybe a Bloody Mary with a Zydeco in it. Great wine selection. The seafood's always freshest. Great ideas if you like good Angus beef. He's got that as well. Go by Steamboat Warehouse in KSLO. See you on the other side of 3.
And the issue of the furrow, which is distributed by the John Deere Corporation and our local dealers throughout Acadiana here, they have a little joke section in the magazine. And I must have had a few minutes of time, and I was reading it, and it says right here, tell a man there's 300 billion stars in the universe, and he'll believe you. Tell him a bench has wet paint on it, and he'll have to touch it to be sure.
There you go.
And this is Murphy's Law. How about that?
This week, Little Theater's having